So I'm from the famous Medellín, Colombia.
Right. Okay.
People know it as Pablo Escobar's town. I want to get a little bit into that. And then when I landed on the airport, this lady dropped her purse, and I couldn't even tell her she dropped her purse. I was just like pointing, and the lady was like confused. So that's like a reminder that I always had in my mind. I don't know why. It was like inside of that, it's like meat, and then rice, and then the rice they dip it on blood.
Ugh. Put on your helmets and buckle your chin straps for the wildest podcast held in the Steel City. Dubs and Chickenhawk will give you a taste of the past in fried jumbo.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to today's episode of Fried Jumbo. I'm here with my buddy and longtime friend, Chickenhawk. Right?
How you doing, Dubs? Good to see you again today.
Yeah,
Hope everybody's doing good.
We're also here with a wonderful guest and friend by the name of Sebastian. Sebastian comes to us by way of Todd's friend, Ed, and Ed, you're going to tell us a little bit more about that.
Yeah, I mean...
introduce us a little bit deeper to Sebastian, because he was telling me earlier about how his name's from Colombia come, and it's a couple different names. We're going to talk a little bit more about that.
Yeah, I think it's, the podcast is really based around Pittsburgh people and being here and being part of the city and all that stuff. And we meet, a lot of the people we've had in here, they're born and raised here, and so we have the opportunity today with our guest, Sebastian, who I've known since he was a little kid, right?
Yep.
And I met him through my buddy Ed Bear, who's a real good friend of mine, Edward, as you call him, right? And your mom, Monica, who's
Monica Bear.
Super, Monica Bear.
Yeah, Monica Bear.
Just great people from the North Hills in Pittsburgh. And met Sebastian when he was a little kid, and now he's a Pittsburgh guy. And we'll get into a little bit about where you're from, because you weren't born and raised here. Yeah. But it's a really cool story. He's an electrifying young man with a lot of energy and pretty darn wise. So I thought, boy, he would be a really cool guest for Pittsburghers to listen to, right? That the new blood coming into town, right? Which is cool.
I love it. You guys also telling me I'm the youngest, right? So,
yeah, that's it.
Gotta break the barriers sometimes.
So our oldest guest has been 92, and you will be our youngest guest. You're 27, right?
27.
Right.
Here I am. No, I just want to take this time to appreciate you guys for hearing about my story. I've always wanted to do podcast stuff, but I never had the chance to actually get to do these, and what else to talk about my life than the first time to do it. So here we are.
It's awesome, man. Well, we really appreciate it. We truly do. And I know our guests will find it really interesting. We're getting younger people interested in our podcast. We look at them and go, holy heck. So a lot of these young people are listening to some of these old-timer stories and the stories we talk about.
Yeah, the mission of the show is just to basically have lessons learned while people are growing up, right?
Right.
And we want to know about people growing up from age 92 all the way growing up to, say, 22. We want to know if you grew up in Pittsburgh or if you grew up in Nashville and you grew up in Columbia. You started your life in Columbia. So
for sure.
I think that's even more interesting.
Yeah.
And we do have a couple other folks coming on. A doctor friend of mine, he's from Bulgaria. He's coming on maybe in a week or two. So we're trying to, have people on from all over the world.
Right.
The crazy thing is, people have different views, and they're raised different ways, and not just in here in America. There's different countries that might be okay to do something, and in here might not be okay because it's just third world countries or different stuff that is not normal for you guys. And I like the fact that you guys do take your time to hear out different stories, because not everything's black and white. Sometimes it's great.
Amen, brother. Very well said. But I think you're a Steelers fan now, which is key. And so that team, it's kind of our thread. I mean, a lot of people are from Pittsburgh, and they have, it has that energy to affect you in a different way. And Pittsburgh's a pretty welcoming town, I believe. I mean, I'm sure there's days where it's not, but from other cities, it's a pretty interesting place.
So you knew Ed, right?
I knew Ed
through business. You were
right. We became great friends, right?
Okay, and Ed was married or remarried to.
Yeah, my friend.
Mom,
yeah,
right?
my friend Eddie went down to Columbia to do some work. Ed's in landscaping, right?
Okay.
I call him landscaper to the stars because he does really super stuff.
Big giant projects.
Yeah, he would not. At our house, he would just come here and
Yeah. He's like, you need a 10-floor building.
He'd expect a jumbo sandwich at our house. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And Ed was married before. He went down to Columbia to do some work, and he met. And he called me and goes, man, I met this awesome woman in Columbia, Monica, your mom,
my
right?
Mom, currently
yeah, who spoke any English? Did she speak any English?
Not any at all. No.
Right.
Nope.
And they fell in love. And Ed is he's an old soul, but to hang with the Colombians, they like to have a good time. Ed loves it.
Yeah.
And
Ed's
it's
from what? McKee's Rocks.
he's from
McKee's
he's from the
Rocks,
Rocks,
yeah.
right?
Which
Yeah.
is crazy to me because like you had to have the patience because like I mean you could meet the love of your life, but if they don't have you don't speak the same language, like you're not gonna talk to a phone, which it happens a lot. And then a lot of people are at first they're like, oh, I can like get over that, like I can deal with that, and then eventually they're like, I cannot do it anymore. Because it's up to the other person to see if they want to learn that language too.
Yeah,
you know what I mean, Ed got really quick at learning Spanish. You look at him, he's like, yeah, he doesn't know how to say hola.
Right.
But he doesn't understand everything you're saying.
Right,
Like,
yeah. Now you can't get nothing by him.
no, I used to be able to. I'll come. My mom speaks Spanish, but now he like knows what I'm saying. But my mom will also now he spoke no English. Now she's become a person that they both speak in English and Spanish. So
yeah.
it's a little bit of both. So it's good to see that happening with them too, because I don't think I'll have the patience to.
Yeah, but I know she loves her children. She's a very good family. She loves her family. They're down in Colombia a lot, right? Your grandma, your poppy. And she loves America. There's no doubt about it, right? She loves America. She'll tell you that straight to your face, and she's just a great person, and so is Ed. So I met you as a little guy, right? Can you give us a little bit of an idea? Well, first of all, what's the first question you want to ask him on our list?
Well, I just wanted to know where in Colombia it was from before I get to our first question's always, did you ever have fried jumbo? But before we get there, I just want to ask you real quick, where are you all? Where were you residing?
So I'm from the famous Medellín, Colombia.
Right. Okay.
People know it as Pablo Escobar's town. I want to get a little bit into that. I was born and raised there. Medellín. Well, in Spanish it's Medellín. In English it's Medellín, but it just sounds.
What is it in Pittsburgh?
In Pittsburgh, people call it Medellín. It's like saying someone named Jesus. You're not calling him Jesus. You're gonna say Jesus, right? It's like the same thing. But no, I had no idea how to speak English. My dad, which my mom was married to, they were divorced, so he would only come my childhood. He would come every December because that's when it's like summer there. Okay. Really, that's when people have off, and it's like everyone is like vacation pretty much.
Yeah, okay.
And he would come every year, so I only see my dad. Like my I call my dad Ed too, dad, but this is my real dad. He would come at the end of every summer. Of December, and then he would go back. So I would not see him. So my mom, I would talk to him visually, like on FaceTime. There was no FaceTime there. So, and eventually I moved here when I was like 11. My dad brought me here. My mom was still down in Colombia, and the plans wasn't expected from my mom to come here at all. And then, like he said, my stepdad, which my dad Edward, he came, he went, he did some projects in Colombia, and my mom had to meet a great guy. I remember the first time she told me about it, I was like, okay, you know what I mean? But I know my mom's a good guy, and Ed's a good guy, so we made it. Then I lived actually in North Carolina for like a year.
Okay.
So whenever my mom was here, and then my stepdad brought my mom to Pittsburgh, I had the option to be like, hey, do you want to stay with your dad or with your stepdad? And I don't know. There was a reason. I just wanted to come here. Yeah. Never been to Pittsburgh. I didn't know what Pittsburgh was. Mm-hmm. And from there, I went straight to North Allegheny. Nice. So it was a good plot. Everything worked out. It wasn't like I knew what I was doing. Everything worked out because, North Allegheny is a great school. It's definitely a bigger school because I went to there. So there's not a lot of Hispanics in that school. Right. But there's a lot of people. So I stood out of everyone, and I love the attention. I don't know. I'm a type of guy that...
Yeah, you are, man.
I love the attention. If you give me attention... Even if it's good or bad, my name's coming out of your mouth. So that's what it is.
And I could see that when you were a little kid when I first met you.
Yeah,
this kid got a shine to him for something, right? He got a thing going on.
So your biological dad, is he still in North Carolina, or is he?
No, he's a truck driver, so he moves around a lot. Okay. He was in New York for a little, and then he's in Virginia, so he moves a lot.
But he's in the States, though.
Yeah, he's in the States.
He's no longer in Colombia.
Yeah. No, he's not in Colombia. He's never really been in Colombia. He just goes there. He has his business down there too. It's like Airbnbs kind of.
Oh, okay.
So we go down there, like rentals. Yeah, and then we'll get into it more of what happened after that.
So you were basically here at 11 or 12. So you got probably introduced to Ed's parents, I would think,
Yeah.
right?
That had to be different for you, huh?
And maybe they may have introduced you to fried jumbo, perhaps. Have you ever had fried jumbo? That's our main first question.
The main first question. I actually never had fried jumbo, so that's why I was looking
So,
at it.
I've heard you have had fried jumbo.
Okay, all right.
Some people call it fried bologna, but you had it. What do you call Ed's mom? Is she a Nona? What? Oh, no. I don't know. But his mom you've had chipped ham there.
Oh, okay, yeah. Then I have had it.
You've had chipped ham, but you've also had fried bologna where she put it. He goes, "Oh, he's definitely." He said he won't remember it because he was too little, but he's had it.
Yeah. No. I mean, I guess I've had it too, but yeah.
Do you know what bologna is from being in the States? It's like
bologna?
Yeah.
Like are you talking like the bologna or like the other bologna? Like, oh, you speaking bologna or like
no, like the actual meat.
Okay, yeah, the bologna. I know the bologna.
Yeah. So that's what in Pittsburgh they call that jumbo because Isley's some store used to sell bologna and it was bigger than the average bologna.
Yeah.
So they called it jumbo bologna.
Jumbo bologna.
So they call it, like when we were kids. That's what we ate a lot of was fried jumbo.
Fried jumbo.
Our parents could get more meat for less money.
Yeah.
Any money.
We weren't eating steaks and stuff,
you know. You couldn't get ground meat or steak or chicken. We were
not every day, right? And that bologna was our everyday protein.
Yeah, really.
You would eat that kind of stuff like chipped ham or bologna or something like.
I mean, it's
or
crazy.
Peanut butter.
It's crazy how like
peanut butter's great.
It's crazy how like big like Pittsburgh has evolved in general. Like it's like becoming a city that's like really like a lot of people. How was it back then? Like was it
you
like
don't
less?
You don't know steel mills, right? You've never.
No. That's what I'm asking you. Was it like more like it was dark, right?
Yeah.
So like did people go out in like bars and stuff?
Yeah,
or, like,
they drank hard, died quick, worked their butt off in the mills and the coal mines and stuff like that. Yeah.
There was really not a whole lot of white collar work. I mean, there was some white collar, like big headquarters of companies, but there wasn't our parents involved.
Yeah, most of the people were steel workers and coal miners.
Our parents were all blue collar people that worked in the steel mill and did 12-hour shifts and came out of there.
Got laid off.
No, was there like a lot of like diversity in like Spanish, Chinese, or what really wasn't that much?
No, because
like
a lot of Eastern Europeans and Italians when they came here, that was when they migrated to America, that's were the only place where you can get blue collar work because they didn't have schooling. So Pittsburgh had a lot of the coal mines and the steel mills. Okay. If they had the coal mines and the steel mills now, there probably will be a lot more. If the Hispanic, if they're migrating, they would come here because there were jobs just to put food on the table, right?
Well, the Little Italy thing, which just happened this weekend, right?
Yeah.
That was where all the Italians moved, right?
Yeah.
Right, where the UPMC Children's for You, is that where it was, right?
Yeah.
Correct?
Bloomfield, Swissville, all that was like Italians, and then you had Irish with like Regent Square and different spots in through there, and you had Polish Hill on the other side of town. So it was mostly a lot of migration from Europeans to the United States through Ellis Island in New York.
Yeah.
Right.
Now we're having more of a migration from the southern part of the world coming up from Mexico and Central America.
Yeah.
And that's why they're going to like different cities because there's work, right? You got to work to put food on the table.
People are leaving countries to come here because you can get some employment. Opportunity.
Yeah, and some countries, as we're going to talk about, are having some serious turmoil, which is shaking things up in a bad way for people.
They are. It's like it's not. There's something some people are not aware, but even if you're not aware, eventually you're going to become aware of what's going on because it's just humanitarian crisis. Sometimes my accent won't come out, so it's just not okay for people to be living like that. It's just scary, and I imagine myself on that, like how living that is just crazy. But yeah, we'll get into that. The funny thing is, like when I first moved here, my dad was like, "Yeah, you're moving to America." I'm like, I have no idea how to speak English. Like, what do you like? I was like, that was my first thought. Like, I didn't even think where I was going. I was like, where's like. And then when I landed on the airport, this lady dropped her purse, and I couldn't even tell her she dropped her purse. I was just like pointing, like, and the lady was like confused. So that's like a reminder that I always had in my mind. I don't know why. It was like the first thing when I landed, she dropped her purse, and now I can tell her she dropped her purse.
So how did you pick up the English? So, and how long did it take?
I don't know. I cannot speak for everyone, but like for me, it was extremely easy. also I was very young. Clearly, I still have an accent, but I can tell you to F off or whatever.
Yeah,
you know
yeah,
what I
yeah.
mean? Like you saw me when I was a little kid.
And you would probably say that to me.
Yeah, I was probably still, even with a strong accent. But no, I was just able to, because we had a thing in class called ESL or ESL. What's ESL? ESL, I'm pretty sure. So the people that like don't speak English, they take you there in the class, and then they kind of follow you around at first, and they like, because all classes are English clearly, except the Spanish. That would be the only one that I understood.
You'd be getting straight A's
Yeah,
in that
no.
class.
No, it's funny because like my teacher will like the Spanish one will be like, right, Sebastian? I'll be like, you're the teacher. Like, I mean, I can tell you yes, but it's gonna be a very slang Spanish. Yeah, it's not like a correct one. And then it's funny because at first I liked it, but eventually, like, I mean, I want to make friends. Clearly, I wanted to talk to girls, and someone following behind me is not gonna help that.
Right.
So that kind of like pushed me in like learning. But I don't know. It was very smooth for me.
Yeah, you seem to pick it up quick. Like when I first met you, I mean, you just moved here because Ed wanted to introduce his new, you know, his Monica, who I met prior to that. But he wanted to introduce you kids because, you know, he thinks ahead. He wants to introduce you, get you assimilated in that. And when I first met you, I don't think you spoke much English, but you were picking it up quicker than your sister, I think.
Quick. Yeah.
You were like zing zing. I'm like, oh gosh, this kid's like 2 steps ahead of everybody else in the room, and they don't know it.
I mean, yeah, but I came here with, I have a sister and a half brother. They both speak English, but I'm probably the one that like can like erase the accent a little bit. Their accent is a lot more stronger than mine. Right. And
are they younger or older than you?
They're both older. I'm the youngest one.
Yeah.
I'm the youngest one.
That might have something.
What are their names?
My sister's name is Sarah.
Sarah.
And then my brother's name is Felipe. Yeah. So.
And then you were mentioning earlier, like in Colombia, you have your father's last name is, you have 2 last names. Like you have your father's last name first, and then your mother's last name after that. So can you take us through that? Because I think that's really interesting.
Yeah.
A lot of Pittsburghers will be interested in this.
So
a lot of people will be.
In here, like you just have your name, middle name, and last name. And there, what it is you have your name, Sebastian, and then your dad's last name comes first, which is Vasquez, and my mom's last name and your mom's last name comes second. So it's Pera. So my full name in Colombia is Sebastian Vasquez Pera. But since we don't have that here, what happens is your second last name becomes your middle name. So in here, I'm Sebastian Pera Vasquez.
Oh, I see.
So it's weird when people ask me that question because I can't answer it 2 ways. I think I can be like Vasquez, I can be Pera, but technically in here, I'm Vasquez.
So in Colombia, you would be Pera as your last name, and here
second last name. Second, yeah. Which I like that because I mean, what if you like don't like your dad's last name and you're like, I want to take my mom's. Like, right. So you have that privilege to pick which one it is. I mean, I can tell you. But yeah, it's pretty cool how that works. I never thought about it, I guess, but yeah.
Were you born in Medellín or Medellín? What Pittsburgh's? Were you born there? I mean, you didn't know anything about America until a certain age, right? I mean, where'd you go to school? How big was the school? What was that all like?
No, so like I said, my dad already lived here. So what I would do is I grew up there. Clearly, I would go to school there, which is funny because I was supposed to. It was like I had to take the bus. They will pay me my aunt will give me money to take the bus to go to school. But I would not tell him this. But I would not take the bus. I would just walk to save that money.
Save the money.
Oh yeah, no, and then and I would not tell him, right? I mean, I clearly like I could take the bus and it'll be like 10 minutes, but if I walk, it'll be like 25. But it's okay because all my friends all got together because we all were supposed to take the bus,
right?
And once we got there, we would spend it on junk food there during lunch, or we would go outside and there was like little toys that you can play, not toys, but like stuff you can play, like. Have you ever guys done the bell one? Like they spin it on a circle and then you put the pencil in there and they spin it up.
Yeah.
So we'll play that and then like, oh, if you put $1, if you get it in, like it's like $2. So sometimes we'll have no money like to come back because we spend it all. But yeah, it's funny to think about that. But back in Colombia, you guys were probably aware of this. There's a lot of, I didn't live that life, but my family did. It was the Pablo era. So it was from Medellín. This is where a lot of stuff was going on. It was actually Colombia. It was actually Medellín was probably the most dangerous city in the world at some point. I wasn't alive, so I cannot tell you exactly.
But it was right. Yeah, your mom and dad.
Yeah. So my family got to live that. But what was happening is there was a lot of poor cities in Colombia.
Yeah.
So there was a lot of poor towns. So what he would do is, I mean, if you pretty much served him, he would give you like money and houses and everything. So lower class in Colombia, like adore Pablo Escobar. They like him because he
was like a Robin Hood.
Yeah, it was a Robin Hood. So there was this place that was all full of trash, and he cleared that, and then he made it into houses, which is called Pablo Escobar Town now. They actually wanted to change the name, and the people that lived there actually refused to change it. They're like, no, like they refused to change it. So like if you're like a lower class, you probably liked them, but clearly there's a lot of deaths within that because people were dying.
Yeah.
But the middle age and high and upper, like he would take from you to give it to the poor. So my family is not a big fan of them,
right?
Which is funny because when I go to Colombia, sometimes they ask me what I want to do, and even when I lived there, I never got to go to his grave. And I asked him, I was like, I want to go to his grave. And like my family actually has never been in a grave, and I went to his grave, and it was just like a little bit weird because like clearly my family doesn't like him.
So is that like a tourist attraction? His grave?
Yeah. So he started his own jail too. That's like a tour thing. So he had this big territory down there, which he brought a bunch of animals that weren't there.
Yeah.
And he would let people go and see them and stuff, but clearly he's so big that like there's a lot of towns. So when he died, they killed him in 93, 92.
I don't know. I saw the movie, but I couldn't.
No, he killed him 93, 92. So what people would do is after he died, there was so much money in there that they couldn't keep. Like they knocked money, like they couldn't like financially hold that, so they started a tourist zoo in there.
Cool.
But
I got you. I heard a little bit about it on the news. Like he had rhinos or hippos.
Hippos. So it started getting like hippos and stuff, and it was just too much for the government. It was too much money for them to handle. So they had to like actually tour around.
Wow.
And it's still that big that like they're still losing money on it. That's how big it was. And then when he went to jail, actually, he wanted to become the president.
Yeah,
I don't know if you guys. He ran for presidency, and then later they leaked a mugshot of him. Because he kept refusing. He was like, "Where's your money coming from?" He's like the billionaire, the most richest person in the world. He's like, "Where's your money coming from?" And that's when he messed up because then the government started coming at him, and so that's when all that stuff that you see he shot a plane, they killed a bunch of people.
Yeah.
Then he was like, he made an agreement, and he's like, okay, I'll go to jail, but I'm building my own prison, which is called La Catedral now, but it was not a prison; it was a luxury house. Like,
yeah. That's where he kept himself. Right?
That's where he kept himself. But what happened is he kept doing everything inside there. So technically he was under the government's eyes, but he was still running everything. So he was free to do everything. And then eventually they came, and then he escaped that prison because he built the prison. So he had like tunnels and stuff. That's just something that people, but like the thing about that is people, because all those episodes still come out to this day. So people think that's what it is right now. Like Colombia, if you go to Colombia, it's a definitely totally different country. It's like a tourist.
From
like,
then, yeah.
Oh, it's like, so people are like, no, I'm scared to go. Like all this, criminals and all that stuff. I'm like, what I tell them, like, did you just watch Narcos? Because you're probably
yeah. I
was like, did you just watch Narcos?
That's 30 years ago, by the way.
Yeah, that was a while ago. So yeah, that's what I mean. It's just like people just still get scared and still like, oh, like all that because of like it's still going on, and it's crazy that it's 30 years and you're still talking about it, like about them. So that's how big of a difference he made in Colombia. So I would say it was more bad, but like I feel like that gave the attraction that it has now. Because if you go to Colombia now, you see a lot of tourists, a lot of Americans, like people from different countries, just because they love the weather. The weather down there is crazy. The
Good.
food, the woman.
Yeah,
They complain about the
women are
woman.
beautiful, yeah.
Women are beautiful.
And they like to have fun. I know every time my buddy Ed goes down there with Monica, he's always sending pictures back, and they're having a good time, right?
It's always a good time. You're not.
Lot of
You're always
dancing.
dancing.
Oh, a lot of dancing,
You
man.
know, if you don't like to dance, don't go there.
If any music's on, Monica starts to dance. It's like everywhere you go. It
And
don't-
then always bring instruments to play with it.
Always. It's a great culture and really
Yeah.
nice people that I've met. You know, I've been to parties with them here in Pittsburgh, and so they're great.
Yeah.
What are the cities there besides Medellín?
Well, so Bogota is the capital.
right.
And so it's a lot bigger than Medellin. But then there's Medellin, there's Cali, there is Cartagena, there's Barranquilla. But that's like more like the beach size. We're like more of on the center of the country. Yeah, which is right on the Ecuador line.
Okay.
So it never. So they call it the eternal spring. That's why they call it. That's how you call it in English. La eterna primavera in Medellin, because flowers never die. When they say winter's coming, that means rain is coming. And it's like the coldest it gets there is like 65 or 70.
It's
and
like
they're
San Diego or
they're
something.
they're like freaking out. It's like it's so cold. I'm like,
I might have to move down there.
Now that you're in Pittsburgh, now you know the real cold,
oh
right?
yeah, no, I'm like, this is nothing. Like, they're like wearing like a big hoodie, and then me and my dad are just shorts and like, this is normal. This is not cold. It's
wild.
crazy.
That's why we wanted to have you on. It's such a unique story. You spoke a little Spanish there when you were ringing through. How do you say fried jumbo in Spanish?
It
might not be a word for jumbo.
I mean, I don't know about jumbo, but frito jumbo. Frito jumbo.
Yeah, because jumbo would be like the worst meat that they have in Colombia. Some kind of crappy meat.
Right. I don't.
Is there
Yeah.
bad meat like spam? Or any of that stuff
So
down there?
we eat a lot of. There is something called morcilla.
Mm-hmm.
It's like the intestines. So
So
So they clean it up, like, but it's like technically where the shit comes out.
Yeah.
But they clean it out very well. I don't know. I cannot eat it, but like, it's very famous. And then inside of that, it's like meat, and then rice, and then the rice they dip it on blood.
Oh, good grief.
No, and you have to try. I don't like it that much, but
A lot of people
it's
love
not.
it.
It's not bad. It's not bad. But it's like you dip it. It's like seasoned with blood, that rice, and then
What
there's
kind of
meat.
blood? Like whose blood? Like the animal's blood?
The animal's blood. Yeah.
You know, it's funny. We're laughing, okay, but we shouldn't be laughing because
No,
I
laugh.
do know.
I'm laughing with you,
Listen
yeah.
to generations before us that are here.
Yeah.
Because now, we're all Americanized
Yeah.
now, and you see,
Yeah,
you go to a store and everything's prepackaged, and,
Everything is,
cleany deeny.
yeah.
But I know, my grandfather and his father, they had a farm, and they would eat the intestines and all the organ meats were all
Everything.
like when we grew up. Everybody ate liver. It's terrible, right? And not a lot of people eat it now.
Not a lot.
But they were used to eating the organs
Oh,
because
organ meats, yeah.
it was affordable.
They always
Right?
find ways. Yeah.
Yeah, so we shouldn't be laughing because our family's the same. Just 2 generations ago,
Have
right?
you ever? Have you guys eat tongues too?
Oh, yeah.
They
Cow
still-
tongues.
They still eat it, but I've never had
So you know
You
what?
never had it? Cow tongues?
No.
No, you know
I've
what?
had it. I've had it. It's
you know
something
when I
else.
like cow tongue is on a taco.
Oh, the taco. Yeah.
They cut it up in those little
Yeah.
chunks. It's
Yeah.
fantastic.
No, the one I cannot do is eyes. I don't know. I cannot.
No.
I cannot do it.
No.
I cannot do it.
No.
Have you? What's the worst thing you think you tried? If you say
I would say cow balls. I've eaten those.
Have you eaten cow
Yeah,
balls?
the
I can
Italians
tell.
call that sweet bread.
sweet bread,
Yeah, that's what the Italians
was
call
it sweet though?
I don't think it was sweet at all. It tastes like shit. But no, I mean, yeah, you ate tripe too, which is intestine stuff with meat.
Yeah.
But there was never any blood involved.
Any boat? Yeah.
Because we're both half Italian, so they would eat tripe and stuff like that, and for
Oh,
sure,
Definitely sweet bread was testicles and stuff.
Yeah. I don't even know. I don't even think about it.
That's crazy. I mean, I don't know if I can eat that. But like, no, if you like stuff like if you go to China and stuff, that's where they really eat like some crazy.
Well, yeah,
stuff
I've been
out
to
there.
China before, and they have noodles, and like every area has their own noodles.
Yeah.
And they go, you don't want to know what this. It's
You don't
want to
know. You don't wanna know.
Made from pasta, right? It's from something else. It's probably intestines and things like that. But hey,
People have their different views. Yeah.
yeah, and I think we're so Americanized and
Yeah.
everything's so. What's the word I'm looking for? Dubbies. It's like everything's pre-washed and sanitized.
Everything, yeah,
You
yeah.
can remember pig's feet and stuff.
Yeah,
like
yeah,
that too,
yeah,
right?
yeah.
Pig's feet, pig's feet,
Oh,
yeah,
yeah.
We ate that one. When
Chicken
we were little.
feet,
Chicken feet, chicken
Yeah.
feet. I was gonna say chicken feet. That's a big one too.
They had pickles, pig's feet when we were little.
Oh yeah,
They
oh
had
yeah.
like a jelly on it. Oh, you want to talk about disgusting?
You used to go into some of the bars, right, in Pittsburgh, the old bars, the mill bars, and they'd have a big glass jar there, right, and you would get like deviled eggs, and you just stick your fingers in there and pull out
and
the
then you
deviled
just
egg
get
and
it
eat
out
It goes pickled, and you'd pay like a dime
for.
or a nickel, and you'd get an egg, or you had pig's feet too, and some
they
of them
had
you go,
pig's feet,
especially
No, they still have that in. Is it at the strip where they have the bunch of meat?
Yeah,
You
yeah.
can find different stuff.
Yeah.
You can get a bunch of yeah.
Yeah.
They still sell it.
But I think that was the first generation of any culture or any nationality. When they come here, they're coming here because basically they're poor, right? And they're trying to get a better life for their family.
Yeah.
So they've been eating those poor delicacies, we'll call them,
Yeah.
right?
Well, remember we had Shula on, and he was talking about when he was a kid.
Yeah.
They would buy all the guts and head,
Organ meat, all the organ meats.
Like when they would butcher cows and stuff, they would take out all the organ meat and the eyeballs and the guts and all that and put it in barrels. And his family would buy the barrels,
And they'll just
all
eat
that
all
stuff,
that.
and eat all that
because they were that
because
poor,
they didn't
right?
have enough money.
Yeah,
to get
yeah,
regular
you have to.
meat.
Yeah.
So they might for a barrel, they might pay $50 for a giant barrel full of all that
Of stuff.
eyeballs and stuff.
Yeah.
And it was a lot cheaper because they
Yeah.
weren't.
Because people weren't going to use it.
You know, I'm the type of person that like I'm not like I'll try.
Yeah,
because
me too.
I just hate people that are like, no, I'm not trying. Like, try, you might like it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, try it, and then if you don't like it, then don't try it after that.
Yeah, but you only live once, and if life is a bunch of experiences, right? And,
Yeah.
and I'm the same way as you are. Yeah,
I'll try it once. If I don't like it,
eyeballs though might be tough for me, man. If you throw that little round eyeball in there, I got to chew on that. I might be questioning.
no. But
the
I've
eyeball.
seen people like bite it, and then a bunch of like.
Oh
comes
no,
out.
no.
Next time on Fried Jumbo.
And I started looking at the sport. I'm like, what is the point of them doing that until they just go until they scored the touchdown? I didn't know there was 4 downs. I just thought like they just went until
I
like.
saw
I'm like,
that.
what is it? Like they're counting how many times it takes you to get there. I didn't know there was like, a 4th down, like kick it.
Oh, I get you.
Yeah, it was funny. So